Over the lawn of the campus quad, faint strains of the Beatles' Revolution sounded from some distant open dormitory window. Across the central hub of the campus, where anti-war protests disrupted schedules and emptied classrooms a few short years before, a steady stream of university students, some faculty members, a handful of visitors from the community, and several hundred collegians from around the country walked toward the Humanities Building, where tonight's much-anticipated address would be held in the university's largest lecture hall. Though the turbulent decade of the 1960s gave way to a quieter post-Vietnam and Watergate era on university campuses, this was California, after all. Interest in anything with a whiff of counterculture remained keen. There were few activist protests, sit-ins, and stump speeches these days. The revolution birthed in the 60s abandoned the quad for the classroom. Doing so gave it a more respectable air. Ideas, not megaphones nor music, would henceforth represent its arsenal. Mesmerizing ideas, powerful ideas, alluring ideas, sinister and toxic ideas. This evening's lecture had been widely publicized. Dr. Tate Robinson's course, The Social Contract in Changing Times, was one of the most popular offerings of the political science department, usually filled 2 terms in advance. The hands-on work of what was euphemistically termed community organizing for change was intrinsic to its appeal. Dr. Robinson practicalized the protests of the 60s by taking students out into the community, identifying needs of the underprivileged, and devising programs to help them. It was an example of classical liberalism and gospel Christianity at its best, the desire to help those in need. But Vietnam and the social revolution of the 60s shifted the ethos of liberalism from helping people to overturning what was vaguely called the system. American liberalism was in the process of rebirth. The New Left, as it would later be known, would leave the gospel of Christ far behind, except when hijacking aspects of that gospel to suit the left's agenda. The new movement would not exactly leave the poor behind. Helping those in need, however, would fade as a primary goal. It would become instead a tool to advance a new objective: power. The New Left would use and manipulate the disadvantaged toward that end. Whether they actually cared about the poor would be a question future historians would heatedly debate.